The Dignity Act of 2025, a new era for U.S. immigration? Hello everyone, and welcome back to Visa Intel USA. Imagine this for a moment. After decades of political gridlock and countless failed promises, the United States may finally be on the verge of meaningful immigration reform. A reform that could impact not only undocumented immigrants, but also American workers, families, and even the way the U.S. enforces its laws at the border. This is the story of the Dignity Act of 2025, a bold, bipartisan bill that just might change the future of immigration in America. Now, before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and bell icon so you never miss critical updates about U.S. visas, green cards, and immigration reform. A historic proposal in Congress. The Dignity Act of 2025 is not just another political talking point. It is one of the most comprehensive and carefully negotiated immigration bills in nearly 4 decades. Crafted by lawmakers across party lines, it attempts to bridge 3 sensitive but interconnected areas: border security, legal pathways for undocumented immigrants, and workforce stability. At its heart is a program that acknowledges a simple truth: millions of immigrants have built lives in the U.S., and the current system has left them in limbo. Instead of promising quick citizenship, the Dignity Act proposes long-term legal protection. Legalization without citizenship. Under the Dignity Act, immigrants who have lived in the U.S. continuously since before 2021 may apply for a new form of legal status. To qualify, they must undergo extensive background checks, pay taxes, and commit to restitution payments totaling $7,000 over 7 years. This status is renewable and indefinite. It provides work authorization, travel permission, and most importantly, protection from deportation. However, it does not provide access to federal benefits and does not automatically lead to citizenship. The goal is accountability paired with stability, ending the false choice between mass deportation and blanket amnesty. Border security as a priority. But legalization is only one side of the story. The Dignity Act commits $70 billion to border security upgrades. These investments include advanced surveillance technology, more border patrol personnel, rapid response units, and updated infrastructure. It also ends controversial practices like catch and release and creates clearer enforcement policies. At the same time, the bill prohibits immigration enforcement at sensitive locations such as schools, churches, and hospitals, protecting immigrant families from being targeted in places where they should feel safe. The E-Verify requirement. One of the most ambitious pieces of the act is the nationwide rollout of E-Verify. Every employer, from farms to Fortune 500 companies, would be required to use this system to confirm that employees are legally authorized to work in the U.S.
For years, critics have argued that the lack of a uniform system has created an underground labor market, allowing exploitation of undocumented workers and undercutting wages. With E-Verify, the job market would become fairer, benefiting both immigrants and American workers. Reforming asylum processing. The asylum system in the U.S. is notoriously backlogged, with cases dragging on for years. The Dignity Act proposes a radical shift. All asylum claims made at the border must be processed within 60 days. This fast-tracked process ensures that legitimate refugees fleeing persecution receive quick protection, while fraudulent claims are identified and dismissed swiftly. It's an attempt to balance humanitarian responsibility with system efficiency. Modernizing visas. Equally important is visa modernization. The Dignity Act addresses decades-long wait times, outdated quotas, and inefficiencies that have left families separated for years. By updating the system to better match U.S. labor needs and streamlining the process, the bill aims to create a visa structure that reflects the realities of today's global economy. This includes more flexibility for employment-based visas, fairer treatment of family reunification cases, and faster resolution of backlogged petitions. A lifeline for dreamers. For dreamers, the young undocumented immigrants brought to the U.S. as children, the Dignity Act could be life-changing. While it does not provide a direct path to citizenship, it offers permanent legal protection and an end to the uncertainty of deportation. For many dreamers who have grown up American in every way but paperwork, this bill would provide long overdue stability. Economic and business impacts. Beyond immigrant families, the bill has huge implications for the U.S. economy. Industries like agriculture, healthcare, construction, and hospitality depend heavily on immigrant labor. By regularizing the workforce, businesses gain stability, while workers gain rights and protection. With e-verify and legal pathways in place, undocumented workers can no longer be exploited with unfair wages, which helps raise standards across the job market. Border towns, too, would see major benefits. The bill allocates funding for infrastructure, housing, and local services, resources that many border communities have lacked despite carrying a disproportionate burden from federal immigration policies. Political momentum and resistance. What makes the Dignity Act stand out is not only its content but also the bipartisan support it has received. Lawmakers from both sides, particularly those representing border states and diverse communities, have signed on. Advocacy groups, faith leaders, and business coalitions have also voiced strong support. Still, resistance remains. Progressive groups criticize the bill for not including a path to citizenship or access to federal programs. Conservative critics argue that legalization of any kind could incentivize more illegal immigration. The road ahead in Congress will not be easy, but the fact that serious negotiations are happening is itself a historic development. My take on the Dignity Act. As someone who closely follows immigration policy, what strikes me most about the Dignity Act is its practicality. It does not pretend to solve every issue, but it acknowledges reality. The U.S. needs immigrant workers, immigrant families deserve stability, and the border requires order. By focusing on accountability and long-term solutions rather than short-term political wins, this bill sets a different tone from past efforts. It's not perfect, but it's a rare opportunity for Congress to act on immigration in a meaningful way. What happens next? If passed, the rollout would happen in phases. Border funding would be deployed first, followed by the opening of the legal status program within a year. Visa and asylum reforms would gradually take shape by 2026 and beyond. The big question remains, will it pass? That depends on whether Congress and the White House can resist political pressure and focus on solutions. Final thoughts. For immigrants, American workers, and communities across the country, the stakes could not be higher. The Dignity Act of 2025 could become a turning point, shaping not only the immigration system but also the very identity of the United States as a nation of laws, opportunity, and dignity. That's all for today's update from Visa Intel USA. If you found this breakdown helpful, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss any important updates. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.